Welcome to the Life Career Roadmap YouTube channel. And today we have a special guest, my friend Nirmal Singh. So welcome, Nirmal, to the Life Career Roadmap.
Thank you, Cema, for the opportunity. And I've been following your channel for some time, and it's good to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, Nirmal, normally I ask my guests to introduce themselves because they know about themselves better than I do. So, my first question to you, where are you from, Nirmal?
Um, I'm from India. I came to Australia in 2014. I had a civil engineer. I got a permanent residency from civil engineering background. I have worked in civil engineering for about 9 years in India before coming here.
Mhm.
And I worked in civil engineering, contract management, quality testing, management things, project management, kind of, not with the qualifications, but project management. So I had a lot of experience in that field, and I came to Australia in about 2014.
2014. So, and which part of India are you from?
I'm from the capital city, Delhi.
Delhi.
But because of my work, I've traveled almost all of India.
Oh,
So the last 5 years, I was just traveling.
traveling. In which part of India do you prefer the most? Your capital city or any other place in India that you have your heart as well over there?
Every city has its own charm. Every city has its own kind of food and things and pros and cons. So I like to travel. So I don't want to sit down and settle down anywhere. I like to travel.
Are you
That was the
settled
best part.
here? Are you settled here in Perth?
Because I have to settle my life here. I'm still settling and putting things in pieces. Most of the things are there. So probably I think in what I plan in the next 5 years, I should be settled. So, and then after 5 years, I'll start moving again.
Okay, well, look at it, like sounds like a plan. So, Nirmal, let's go back to your career in India. So you said you are an engineer. How or when did you decide to become an engineer? What inspired you to become an engineer?
Good question. I never wanted to be an engineer.
Oh.
I wanted to be a doctor.
Ah.
So in my year 12, I studied both physics, chemistry were common, but I studied maths and biology both. And I gave entrance exams for medical entrance and for engineering entrance. I thought whatever works, but I had more inclination towards biology, more inclinations towards becoming a doctor, and especially an ONG specialist, which
Mm.
is not a very, you won't expect men to go into that field, but that was my first choice if I could go into my preferred field.
So
But
when you said OG is not for many men to go that field. So in India, is more a female doctor working in this field. Ah.
it is like that. But I've heard, I can't give stats on this, but the best specialist in ONG field are men.
Mm.
That's what I've heard from very reliable sources. I have a doctor friend in Australia who is an ONG specialist, and who he told me this thing that the best doctors in ONG field are men.
Ah.
But they
That's
are
why you
uh,
want to
but they are
become.
very small in numbers, and it's
Mhm.
mostly most doctors are female. Yes.
Mhm. So, and then having the desire to be a doctor and then becoming an engineer, how did you decide your engineering field?
Oh, I got it. In engineering, I had a preference for mechanical engineering, but because of my ranks in my entrance examination, I got civil. And from where I come, my social background and family background, we don't like to waste a year. So, like for example, I get civil engineering, so I have to prepare again to give an entrance to become a mechanical engineer, to try
Mhm.
for that, which is like wasting your year of your life. And we have no time to do that. So my father said, get into engineering, start civil engineering. Engineering is engineering. and civil and mechanical both are considered to be evergreen fields.
Hmm.
They never go out of fashion or trend or whatever or need.
Hmm.
There's always something being constructed, and there's always some machinery being updated or done something.
So, and then yeah, you decide then to go in contracts instead of being technical.
Mhm.
Yeah, and why did you choose that?
That was so. I have, I think, a behavioral tendency. I like to see the big picture,
Hmm.
and engineering is very detailed oriented. So you have to go very specialized into some particular field, and understand that and specialize in that and become an expert in that. My behavioral thing is I want to see the big picture. And
Hmm.
contract management and project management gave me that opportunity where I am looking at engineering fields. I am looking at engineering design and execution, but I'm also looking at finance, how
Hmm.
much it costs, where are we in terms of cost for that project, in terms of quality, in terms of overall uh, worker management and team management that I can get this project done. So there's
Hmm.
a whole heaps of things that I could do in terms of contract management and procurement than if I would have done in engineering field.
Okay.
So, and my company said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Contract management." They said, "Yes, go for it."
Mm.
They thought they were getting some more people into contracts, and they were grooming them to go and become higher ups and experts in contract. And I took an opportunity. So someone gave me an opportunity, I just like grabbed it
Okay.
and was good in it.
Okay. So, and working in India and deciding to migrate to Australia.
Mhm.
So, how was that decision based or came to your mind that you want to move to Australia? Was your first option, or you thought migrating to somewhere else as well?
No, Australia was my only option, the first option. Why to migrate? Was because I was in contracts, because my company was grooming me to become an expert in contract management. And I
Mhm.
always had this behavioral tendency of going, what's the bigger picture, even that? So, what's outside of contract management? And I realized project management is a good sphere. I did IPMA level D course in project management at in India itself. So I
Mhm.
had this certificate from back home when I came here. So I did it. I like project management. So I thought I should study project management
Mhm.
and then get into that field. So I actually wanted to come as a student and study project management. But I had someone in Sydney who I talked to. I just shared whatever this thing and I asked for guidance. And he says, because of your past life and work and experience and things and English competency, you don't even need to come as a student. Come as a permanent residency and then study whenever you want to. But it will be cheaper and you'll be working here full time without any restrictions. And your family can also migrate. So there's a lot of things, moving parts. But I said, okay, makes sense. I can save 20,000 on studying and earn that money very soon if I get a PR. So that was the plan.
So a
And
plan, but did the plan work the way you thought you had planned it or no?
project management has a rule that you can make whatever plans you want, but the moment it hits reality, come up with a contingency. Have to
Okay.
have contingencies in life.
So in this case, you came to do your project management. You moved with your family at once, so you came first and your family left behind, and then how
That's
was
a,
the story?
so that's another rule of project management is never put all eggs in the same basket.
Okay.
Uh, so using that, I was not sure about the life in Australia, and it's a big move if I uproot everything from India and come here with everything. So I made a plan that let's start by coming here and seeing the life here. If it
Mhm.
fits my life, if it sits if it suits my behavioral tendencies, if it
Mhm.
suits me, and if it will suit my family and children if they come here. So I have to see that thing and settle down, and also cost wise, because
Mhm.
if I come with the whole big family in one go, there's a big cost. And while you are searching for job or looking for job or settling down and things, that big money capital intensive need can put many people out. So
So
I planned it.
yes.
I came in 14 and then brought my family in 16, 2 years later.
Okay. So that by the time you had finished your course that you want to do, you did a master's, right?
No, I was in mid of it. So I came in 14. I started looking for a job. About 2 months I was unemployed. First 2 months, big problems, but I survived. Started working in a job in airport as a baggage handler.
Mhm.
Collected some money because I didn't want it to put any financial stress on my family. Collected that money and then started studying project management in early 15. So about 6 months I worked. And that's the good thing. That's how you plan, and that's how the plan flourished. Because if I had come as a student, I would have had to work or bring some money from India. In
That's
this case, I could come, work full time, gain that first money, pay it in the as the semester fee, start studying while I was working, and no burden of family or that's problems in the initial phases.
so
So it went well.
in this case, that advice that you got from someone in Sydney that you could find a job because of your skills and qualification and experience. So before you came to Australia, you thought that you could go straight to your field in Australia and work in your field, and the reality was not that.
Very different. I was in contracts, and I thought I had searched for many jobs while I was waiting for my visa. So, and looking at the job descriptions and advertisements, I thought I'll land in a job within 2 weeks. It took me how much? 4 years to land in the job, from
Mhm.
4 weeks to 4 years.
4 weeks to 4 years, so reality completely different. So
That's what I'm saying. When the plan hits the reality, the plan goes out of the window.
yeah.
Contingencies have to hit in.
So, but in this period of also learning about Australia, where you're not working in your field, is when I met you for the first time that you came for one of or two events that I was running with the Immigrant Business Networking
Mhm,
Association. And at that time, I believe you were just starting a new business with your wife.
mhm,
Is that right?
mhm.
And how was the idea of running a business in Australia with something that is very common in India and now is very common here too?
So we met in early 2017.
Yeah.
So that was a time when I had started studying in 2015. So I was almost in mid of my project management course. I was not able to get a proper contract management or a professional job. That was a big issue. And I was working full time. So I was working full time. I was studying full time. I had a family. It was three jobs. So there was probably some issues from my end that I was not putting my good applications
Mhm.
or probably something. And I thought I'm not going to get a proper job, at least for that year, 2017, because my course was finishing in end of 2017. So I had another 7, 8 months to go. And then I thought I'll finish my degree in August, September 17. It will take another 2, 3, 4 months for me to use that degree to get a job.
Mhm.
So I had still another year to go. So I thought, why not start a business? So that will keep me occupied, and it might give me. It's what is kind of redundancy in a project.
Yeah.
When something is not working, you have to have something. And if the business went well, I might not have to have a job. I might give someone else a job.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was the thing when I started looking out for how can I start a job? What's there to start a job? What's needed? Pros, cons, things like that. Again, planning. and that's where we met.
Yeah, that's right. So, and do you still have the business until today?
It's still running. Uh, we started in April 17. So it was a beauty salon business. My wife is a beautician from about 15, 20 years now. So when she came in 16, so that was like August 16. And after 5 months, we started a business
Okay.
because when she started working, she had a lot of problems of working in this field for someone else. And there's a lot of, you know, not good. This field is not good at the lower end.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, why not start a business? She'll work, she'll have a full time job, I'll have a business, we'll have some profits, which again helps the family and we can expand. We did well. We started from a kiosk, and in 1 year, we were in a shop. Another year, we had another shop. So by 2022, we were looking for another shop uh, in 2020. So within 3 years, we had two shops. We had to close one because of COVID and all these regulations and moving parts and so much to manage, especially in a beauty industry, which is very much health related and discretionary spending. So we closed one shop, but our one another shop is very, very well. My wife's happy, happy wife, happy life. So she's happy, and she now understands instead of just being an employee, she contributes and runs her own business. I get to learn a lot of things, working with clients, thinking what the clients might need, or how to better run a business, how to create more profits, how to work with taxation, employee laws, superannuation. There's a lot of things to learn. It's
Yeah, I'm
constant learning.
yes, a man with project management and knowing how to run contracts and procurement. So she has a pretty good team in one man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But um, I'm always asking people. I'm always asking people, my accountant, how do we do this? SBDC, how do we do this? Some other business friends, how do I get this done? Where do I find this person? Like I was asking you, how do we do this? How do we
Mhm.
do this social media? How do we do that? So it's always a network, always testing who I can ask questions and go and learn something from somewhere.
Gotcha.
Um, it's a project, it's a team.
So, and then in 2018, when we started working together for the Kaleidoscope Mentoring Program,
Mhm,
they're working with project management
mhm.
for the program. And I must say that you are one of the people that I have met with so many skills, and you are very, you said you are not oriented to details, but you are always picking everything that can go wrong or is wrong or was wrong, so always there on the dot. So then we met for the second or third time because you came first to see my business, and then we become colleagues. So how else were you working for the first time in a related field that was not engineering, but working with projects in Australia?
It this is we are talking about Kaleidoscope Initiative.
Yeah.
I got this job at end of 2017.
Mhm.
So December 17, 19th December 2017. The day I remember because I got my first job, professional job, and very soon after finishing my project management, uh, dream come true because it's project management, and I didn't had to work 10 hours, 12 hours in a baggage, putting up 30, 32 kgs of baggage all day,
Mhm.
getting out of it. I do like it. I still think that I should take 1 day off, 2 day of casual job at the airport and keep doing that
Mhm.
because it just keeps me rooted. I just can't do it now because I've got so many other things to do. But
Mhm.
I would love to go back to that job at least once a week.
Okay.
Um, on the work front, for some good reasons, probably by grace of God, it was a very small team, which meant I could do a lot of things. Otherwise, usually you are given a piece of the big project and It binds you down.
Mhm.
Ashley was a good manager. She
Yeah.
let me do a lot of things. And I think you came in mid of 18
Yeah, middle of eight.
somewhere. We started Kaleidoscope mentoring program in March 18. So you came around June. So that's how we started something. We grew something. We got some money. We got in more people. And then that's how I could see from start build something. I was building something. It's again, it's engineering, it's project management, and I was working with people so I can see the big picture. I can contribute towards a lot of things that I wanted to be a part of. And one of the big thing was I could learn a lot of things. So I was learning public speaking. I went and did a course how to public speak. I
Mhm.
learned emotional intelligence, which I had never heard of. I learned working with different communities of people, what to say, what not to say, how to say, what does the same thing means for different cultures,
Mhm.
what does the same thing means for a man and a woman, an Australian man or a migrant woman. Everything can be different to everyone. Always on tenterhooks, always guessing and always trying to decipher the meaning of these things. Such interesting field. That public speaking is there, presenting is there, communications is there, social media marketing. I was doing websites, social media, lot to learn. And I was using that information and knowledge and going and putting it to use in my business.
Yeah.
And the skills that I was using in my business, I was bringing it to the project management. Yeah. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of moving parts, but very interesting 2.5 years.
That's right.
We got good awards, national level awards in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's an achievement. Um, we got a lot of support from City of Sterling. I must say we had a very good and supportive council. I
Mhm.
got to know a lot of counselors, and I am still in touch with them. Usually, it's very not. I heard that it's not very common for newcomer local government employees to go and talk and be friends with counselors.
That's right. So it's like they don't know even the structure of how things work.
Yeah. And I think that I think I had such support and such openness that I was thinking of even getting the governor of WA to come at one of the events and hand out awards. We got to the ministers,
Yes.
so why not the governor?
Yeah, it's something that we never got it.
We never got to it because
Yeah.
the logistics and other things,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of support. Very good project, and it has changed and it has changed a lot of lives of a lot of people. That's
That,
where the impact is.
that's right. So when you mentioned something being friends of counselors, so and I know you like all the politics and like the knowing what's going on and how
Mhm.
decisions are made. So and you are very well involved with your council and also going to meetings. How do you see yourself in this new area, running politics in Australia?
Um, I am very new to the field, so I would say politics is a very new field to me. Because back in India, there's almost like 550 member of parliament for 1.4 billion people. It's almost the ratio is like almost like one member of parliament for 320,000 people,
Yeah.
400,000 people. There's no way to connect. You never get to see them.
Only when it's election, they come
Not
around.
even in
Oh,
elections.
even.
Like the election rallies will have 150,000 people. How are you going to even see from that distance? There's no way. Coming to Australia, I was working with the local my city Stirling councillors constantly. I was always working with one of the other councillors and see how we can expand that project to their ward.
Mhm.
They were coming and asking questions. It's not that I was just being friends. It was all operational work. I was going and talking to member of parliaments for Balcata, David Michael. member of Mount Lawley, Simon Millman, he actually forwarded my application for Justice of Peace. I'm a Justice of
Mm.
Peace as well. Simon Millman, Meredith, Janine Freeman, member of Mirabuka, who actually started the program. I was working with them. It's all operational, but they were supporting. They were never say, "Don't come to me," or "I won't support you in this work," or "Who are you?" A newcomer to Australia, someone level 5 officer in some local government. Who cares? But they were supportive. That's the positive I see in Australia. When now someone says that they're not supporting or there's discrimination or racism, I have only seen support from every corner of people I've touched. And I was lucky to work with even ministers through Kaleidoscope. Uh, because of this close working, I got interested in politics. I joined a party about 6 years ago. I have been campaign manager for that elections. I've campaigned. I've run campaigns for two elections, two state elections. Uh, I am very closely involved at division level politics. I see things, a lot of things. I want to contribute, but I don't have the time now at the moment. Uh, in that sense, and it's also a way to give back. So when I moved to City of Bayswater, I am contributing as a member of their inclusion and diversity committee, so I can contribute more. I do read their agenda minutes, which are open to everyone. Every resident should go and read those things, what's happening in the local committee. How can you contribute? You can ask questions, you can should contribute. And I always encourage more people to do that. I do that myself. I'm always open. So I always put my question, what I'm going to ask on my social channels. Here's the question I'm going to ask. So it's nothing hidden. And I've always seen positive encouragement and support from everyone. It takes time. It takes a lot of working. It's not easy. Politics is not easy, especially when I am having a full-time job and running a business, and I have my family commitments, and I volunteer for WA Multicultural Association. I'm volunteering as a Justice of Peace. I'm two or three. I have my own podcast now, so that
Yeah.
takes out a lot of time. So it's almost like I've got 3 or 4 full-time jobs,
So that you
and
like
then
it, let's
I
say.
like it. I like it. But that's the thing. Australia gives you all that opportunity to do these things. I
Yeah.
would have never been able to do these things in India.
Okay, that was my next question. Did you have the opportunity to be involved in politics in India?
No, no, that's what I'm saying.
Did you have
Because
interest to be there?
I had interest, I had connections, I tried to, but then it politics in India is itself a full-time job. When you are representing 400,000 people, you just don't have time for anything else.
And how come they can do it, something for 100,000
Because
people?
we start from, say, age 15, 16, 17, you start putting posters from that age.
So you have
That's
many
your life
assistants
goal.
as well to help you around, right? So because you cannot do it by yourself, you
No,
have
no, no,
assistants. Yeah.
no. But Australia gives you all that opportunity. I go in the morning to my job and then come back, and on the weekends I'll work on my business. On Saturday I'm working on my business. On Sunday I'm reading something or analyzing the news or reading the 300 400 pages of agenda meeting for my local council, or some in the evenings I'm going and attending some party meetings, or some I'm researching for my guests for my podcast.
Yeah.
Keeps it busy, but there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of support, there's a lot of help around,
And
and people encourage you to do these things.
that's right. So talking about opportunities, because it's something that I say to my mentees, expecting Australia to give you opportunity and expecting someone to tap your shoulder and give you a job, right? Or you go into a network and ask someone for a job and they give you. It's the question of creating these opportunities, because there are many things in there, but if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't go forward to learn what is out there and see if it's for you, if you want to continue, you don't create the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's you creating the opportunity. So let's go back then to when you came to Australia, because you said Australia has so many opportunities, you can participate. But regarding your struggles as newcomer, what was the most difficult thing for you coming to Australia and facing a new culture, a new system, a new reality? What you didn't expect that would happen that happened?
So, as I said, I thought I'll get a job in 4 weeks. I couldn't get a professional job in 4 years.
Mhm.
The biggest thing, what I think now, is that I never had that connection and mentors to help me.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that what I was doing in India and how I was applying for jobs in India, if I do the same things here, I'll get the job because I have the qualifications, I have the skills, and they are writing this. This is the advertisement. This is what you want. Come and apply. There's a lot of hidden under the water things which we don't understand as migrants. For example, we assume that because we have skills and qualifications, we should be getting the job. The question is your skills and qualifications being visible to the employer? Because you are not just the only employee. There might be 70 applicants there. Are you being visible? Are you doing anything which stands out from that 70 other employees or applicants? That was a big realization. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. I was in contract management, and before that, in what India calls is vigilance. I was in compliance management, especially anti-corruption. Come to Australia, there is no field called vigilance.
That's
And
right.
I was highlighting it as a very big achievement of my life because I did a lot of work. I had made a lot of savings, but I was always putting it as vigilance officer, vigilance manager.
Mhm.
If there's no field in Australia, no one understands that. So when I did actually started working with some mentors and actually got that opportunity, they showed there is no job for vigilance in Australia, but there's all these cost savings that you have done. You can understand compliance, you can understand how things work and not work, and you can become a governance professional. You can become a compliance professional. They need all these soft skills.
Mhm.
Can you update your resume and application and things in that field? Project management is tends to be or seen as a hardcore subject which goes into construction and things like that. Kaleidoscope was a people's project. It was community development project.
Yeah.
I was not even applying for this. I thought there's no scope for me because this is community development. And my mentor said, project management is project management. You're
Wherever you
still
go.
you're still using the same skills and techniques and processes to deliver a result. Why don't you apply here? Here's a good opportunity. And the project itself is to help migrants become professional jobs. And this is what you have to show them. You have to match what the employer wants. And
Wise mentor.
sorry,
A wise mentor telling you this to.
that's what the mentor is. That's what the mentor is to bring out your hidden things. And I was always asking questions. Once I started studying and I started going to university, I saw that the life is completely different. The
Yes.
way they do research here, the way they write their papers here, the how the interactions are there in student life, in guild, was completely different. I had a big cultural shock when I went to the university.
Mhm.
When I was interacting with the students in my master's class, I was going in the evenings. I could see that I was no way comparable to them. I had to do a lot of work on myself, body language, presenting things, cutting down a few things, changing a few things, changing fonts, changing this, changing that. So it's not just about skills and competence. There's a lot of other things that needs working on. But once I got into Kaleidoscope, I've never stopped. I've always found some way or other way to keep myself engaged in some other way, apart from COVID time and we were all in lockdown and couldn't
That's
find
right.
job. Once the COVID lockdowns went away, I moved. Uh, I got into mental health commission, worked there for a year. Now I got a new job, and the business has been going always. So, and because I run a business and I run an employer, I can talk from an employer perspective as well. That
Mhm.
when I am hiring an employee, I need to see that that employee can give me at least 1.5 times or 2 times of what I'm paying him or her. And that the employee has to show me that if I'm giving her a $70,000 package, she has to earn me 140, 150.
That's right. So normally I tell my mentees the same. Like, do you believe the employer, you employ you just because you have a beautiful resume or because you have a beautiful face? You know, they want you to help them to make money, to pay all the bills, including your salary and also having a revenue. It's not for you to be there just doing the job just for the sake of the job.
Oh, yes. I have stopped expecting that I'll get a job because I survive, because I exist. I'm
Mhm.
always, when I go to the interviews, I've done some interviews. I still keep applying for jobs, even though I have a job. I still keep applying for jobs and going for interviews just to be
Why
in the
that?
loop,
So
just to be in
you're
the
in the
loop,
loop.
just to be sharp. Because you lose the things. I like to keep what's going in the market. I keep applying. It's not that I'm jumping jobs every 6 months. If I can get to stay in a job for 5 years, I'll stay there for 5 years.
Okay.
Obviously, keep improving, but I like to keep sharp. I'm
Mhm.
constantly learning, and that's the thing. Australia. I would say, how do you rewards work? It rewards meritocracy. If you can show that you are willing to work and putting the hard yards and do the things, it will reward you. It will reward you handsomely.
So that's right. The other thing is regarding the family.
Mhm.
So you came with your wife, then she has skills, and for her, working for someone else didn't work well. Um, and then become an entrepreneur herself. How was her path? Was something that she also got very shocked because running a business, I'm not sure if she ran a business in India, but probably has differences, right? So how was for her her journey navigating in a new water of culture and system?
It is. It is. As an employee, especially in a field, a client comes, you deliver the service, you're done with that. Someone else will take the payment. If there's a complaint, someone else will manage it. You are there from 9 to 5 and then you are switched off. Done.
Mhm.
In her situation these days, she is constantly thinking, how do I generate more revenue?
Mhm.
What can I do to bring more clients in within that 9 to 5 period?
Mhm.
How can I get more outcome from the same work? Can
Mhm.
I go and learn this course or that course and so I can provide more services apart from what I'm already providing? Just
Mhm.
she's got into that mind after the
Good.
after the COVID has finished. She has gone back to studying. She has, even though she has a proper qualifications from India,
Mhm.
she has still gone and she's still completing Cert 3 in beauty these
Mhm.
days.
Okay.
So
Well done.
it's a different mindset when you think that even as an employee, if I'm working in this field in a procurement, as I'm working in procurement these days, I'm constantly learning what's the new rule from Department of Finance. What's the new rule from this? What is the guidance from here? What are the directions from there? What are the rules in the business? What's the overall strategy of the business? How do I fit in? How do I provide more? I think that's the way to go for any employee or any business. That's the business skill that I put in my employment. And that's the employment skill I teach to my wife. It's constantly moving skills from here and there. And that's where the soft skills come in. We migrants have to develop on our soft skills. Um, Big thing, communicating with our colleagues, both on and off the field, when you're working, when you're not working, uh, social gatherings, traveling, raising hands to take up more responsibilities. And if there's small responsibilities, why not? Um, it's always good to learn. It gives you a lot of opportunities to learn. I learned a lot.
Yes.
At Mental Health Commission, I got to work with assistant commissioner, even though I was just 6 months into the job, because we were working on that COVID thing,
Mm-hmm.
distribution of resources and things to different organizations. Get to meet, learn a few things. I learned implementing Salesforce within
Mm-hmm.
6 months. I
Wow.
learned developing websites.
Mm-hmm.
So it's constantly working, constantly expanding what you can deliver to the employee. And that's my wife does. She's constantly learning and thinking what she can deliver to the clients for.
That's wonderful.
It's a different mindset. It's a different ball game. And
That's
she's
right.
got into it.
I'm glad she did.
Oh, she's thinking, and even before me, she's thinking, what's the profit for this month? Where are we for the financial year? When are we putting it our taxes in? How much money we are paid to this? How can we save here?
A very
Can we?
different perspective now, right?
It's a very different perspective. That's what I'm saying. As an employee, we switch off from 9 to 5.
Yes.
Business is 24 hours. You're
Yeah.
always constantly thinking.
And that's why I have shared with you what I think about if you, we run our lives as a business, we understand much better how and where we want to go. Because when you think about business, people normally think about investment and earning money and making people work for you. But it's not only this, it's the business itself needs to invest the time to grow, to learn how things are, the new trends, how you can serve better, how you can make a process much more efficient, how you can develop new products, services. So you need time for this. And then you need time also, you need to invest also in money. You need to have money to reinvest and make the business grow. And behind everything has the investment of your own emotions, the good emotions that you need to invest to believe that it's possible to provide that service or product to others. And they value the customers, you value your service or product. So it's always reinvesting time, money, and your emotions, because you don't run a business thinking that you are failing. You think that you'll be
No,
successful.
no. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Always that kind of investment that you need to have the good emotions that
Mm-hmm,
move you forward, that
mm-hmm.
make you to do what you do. So when you become an entrepreneur, at least for understand the structure of a business and what is involved, you see life differently.
Oh,
Very.
that's what when I go to my employment job, daily 9 to 5 job, I don't consider myself as an employee. I think myself as a consultant, a
Mhm,
sole trader consultant, who they have hired, and they'll pay me whatever money, and then I have to provide these services.
mhm,
So it's always my thinking mode is how can I provide them more so I can get this contract again next year and next year and next year and next year. And that's what my one of the bosses in India said. Once you get your promotion, or once you get your increment or whatever, or bonus or whatever, that finishes off what you have done in the last year. The day you get your promotion, you got the money in the bank, start again from zero.
mhm,
Now you build up whatever you do in the 1 year, which will be done, assessed in the performance appraisal, and you'll get your reward or whatever. Again, back to zero. Start again. So it's almost a series of jobs, series of contracts, Now I myself always see as a businessman.
Hmm.
I'm going to a job, but it's a business. How can I get this contract again next year?
Yeah, independent is a government or anything. It's always a business behind the structure of the business that needs to run. So, and now let's talk about again the family and
Mhm.
your kids. How it was for them? So they came little here. Now they are
They,
teenagers.
my son was 4 and my daughter was 2 when they came. Yeah, very small. But that's the good thing. They didn't had much of a cultural shock because they were too small. They got into this community very soon. They had a flourishing time. They had good time. My son was put into an intensive English school so that he can go into a proper school very soon. But my daughter was 2, so she started in the schooling phase, and they're having a blast.
Hmm.
They're enjoying their life. Um, yeah, and I do have a sit down with my kids, and they come to me from different questions on what do you think about voice? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I'm without telling them, I'm making them think in a business term. All right, this is what someone says to you. If it was your business, how would you run it? If it was your money which you had earned and I gave you pocket money and someone took it away, how would you feel? How would you like to spend your money in? How would you like to design your way that you are done your studies in 2 hours and you can go to play? And just giving them ownership. Run your life on your own.
Yeah.
I can save you at the boundary conditions where you don't run onto the road and get hit by a car. But beyond that, go and do on your own. That's the good thing about Australia is I was always careful about leaving my kids out in the evenings in India. But Australia, I don't care. Run
Hmm.
around, play, explore. My son has grown into a good player in districts. For 2 years, he has won awards in cricket. My daughter is very good in arts. She draws, and she has learned Canva, so she can do a lot of my things for my business.
Ah, that's nice. Very creative.
Who already got an apprentice for the business, and she's got some interest into money.
Hmm.
So I'm showing her how the business financial run,
Hmm.
and she picks it up well. Not too much because there's a lot of taxation laws and this law and accounting standards, but she gets the gist, how much revenue and how much expenses. She understands that.
True. That's a basic one then. That's good. Good for
That's
life,
what you want to
right?
understand. That's what you will need. How much comes in and how much goes out and what's left in your hand.
That's right. So good on you, Remo.
Yeah,
Good on
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So, Nemo, tell me one thing.
Mhm.
As you have been working with newcomers and always surrounded by them and serving them as well through your skills and your community services. For someone in Australia, a newcomer is struggling to find their feet here, knowing how they can make their life and career sustainable in Australia and back to what they thought they would be or reconnecting or discovering a new career. What kind of advice would you give them?
Uh, I'm no one to give an advice. I can share my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, the first thing is to get any job. Don't care what it is. It keeps the money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you grounded, and it keeps the money coming in. You don't have to um, depend on anyone. It
Mm-hmm.
gives you the worth that you are putting your effort and getting some money. That's the basic first thing. Second is to treat the job search as a business opportunity. So,
Mm-hmm.
what can you provide to the employer that they can pay you that whatever salary you're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
If you are hyper specialized, like I
Yeah.
have a friend in India who is a rail engineer, and he
Mm-hmm.
has already got a $250,000 package sitting in India. He's
Mm-hmm.
not even came here.
Mm-hmm.
The company is going to provide him all the visa facilities and travel and things like that. If you are hyper specialized, you won't have problems finding jobs. If you're a regular mid-tier professional, I would always say think of it as a business. What can you give to the employer that they can pay you that $100,000, $150,000 package? What can you do? Do you have all the skills? It's very easy to see what skills you need because you can go on Glassdoor, you can go on LinkedIn and see what your peers in that profession are doing. What are the skills they have? And then go and get the skills. I'll give you an example. I worked in Mental Health Commission, which is a state government facility. And I think I'm more attuned to working in the government sector than private sector. Even though I have that business mind, for some reasons, I'm more attuned to business working in the government. So I actually asked around and then I found someone. He's a very Lloyd White. He advises on how you can get a job in a government. The language that you put in your applications is entirely different if you're looking a job in a private sector. So that kind of precision is needed if you want to find the job fast.
Okay.
That's finding the jobs. And then once you get into the job, it's constantly delivering whatever you promise them to. Whatever the field, accountancy, professionals, engineering, things, just delivering. I see on a podcast where I find people from all backgrounds and who have been successful in their stays in Australia. And when I ask them how much role or discrimination or something played in your success and how much your hard work and constant upgradation worked in your success, I've never ever anyone saying that someone gave me my success. It's all because of my hard work. It's all because of my constantly upgrading myself. Anyone. I have friends who came from refugee background from South Sudan, and he is a high tier IT security specialist in Rio Tinto. But it's all constantly. He's learning, he's constantly traveling, he's always there for the company. So that's a three-stage thing. Get a job, see what you need to provide to get the contract from the employer, and then deliver on that employer 110%.
That's right.
It's a three-stage thing.
Yes, without being a slave.
Sorry?
Without being a slave, because many migrants, when they come, they think they need to over deliver because it's the only way they can be seen, but it's working very effectively instead of being working.
Australia, that's what I said. Australia rewards smart work. It rewards output, not how much effort you put in. It just needs output. Can you deliver the output? And if you can deliver the output in, say, for example, I have to deliver 10 kgs of something in 40 hours. If I can deliver that in 30 hours, my efficiency has gone up, but I can spend something else, those 10 hours, in doing something else, learning something else, or delivering something else, which will help me get a higher pay rise next performance appraisal. So it's not working too much.
Yes, it's the different. So, Nirmal, and if someone like you that once is thinking of moving to Australia and bringing the family, what suggestion would you give to them that helped you to understand your path in a different way?
That depends on where the person is coming from. If it is a Anglo-Saxon country, there'll be less of a culture shock. It also depends on how adaptable the person is. So if you're very adaptable, if you have confidence in your adaptability and you're not too much perturbed by too many moving parts too soon in your life, go for it. Bring your family. But I would say take step by step by step by step. There's no harm in your family coming a year later down the line, but it
Mhm.
will put a very it will reduce the burden, financial burden, social burden on you when you come all together. My wife had her PR when I came, but she came a year later.
Mhm.
You can bring her to activate the permanent residency, but
Mhm.
it's better that you know what getting in.
Mhm.
Sun Tzu says, uh, there's a book called Art of War. Sun Tzu says all wars are won before they are fought.
Mhm.
You get into it, you know the things, you know the enemy, you know yourself. You'll
Yeah.
never be defeated in any war.
Oh, that's right. So you know and the strategy also that you need to
It's a
use.
strategy. It's a plan. If you don't want, like some people are very comfortable with many things moving simultaneously.
Yeah.
Their wife might be very competent and professional, and she can possibly get a job faster than he can get it.
Mhm.
So things are different. You can bring the family in. She'll be supporting you while you're looking for a job, or you both can work. Or she might have a business like my wife could. So
Yes.
she was working and supporting me while I was looking for a job. So
Mhm.
everything is different. Look for things what's comfortable for you. But Australia can give you a cultural shock if you are coming from a Southeast country or African country or things like that, which is not similar. But it's always good to take a plunge, test the market, and get in. Why not?
Yeah. And you, what's your favorite dish back home, like in India? What you when you think about it, you're just your what are your mouth just watering like, oh my goodness, I love this. What kind of dish do you like? Your
We
favorite
don't get it here. It's mutton curry.
Dankari, what is this?
Mutton is a goat curry, but smaller goat, young goat,
The young goat.
young
Uh-huh.
goat. So it's the meat is very,
Uh-huh.
very tender and very soft. And when you make it, like I could make it very well here, but we don't have mutton in Australia. We won't
You
get it
have a
very
lot
soon.
of mutton here. Yes, I
We
have
won't
got
get it,
mutton.
but
Oh,
they call it lamb and lamb mutton.
lamb, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mutton
that's
is
lamb
yes, the
mutton.
older one.
So
The
it's
lamb is the younger one,
yeah,
right?
so it's the sheep thing. It's not the goat.
Yes.
Mutton is goat.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing, but it's fantastic.
And, oh, I need to go to India to try this as you don't have here then.
I haven't tested yet. I might find some goat or some mutton here and then I can make it.
Wonderful. So thank you very much for this chat, Nirmal. And I know you have this podcast that you interview people and talking about uh, what people have their perception about their also transition to a new country,
Hmm?
the involvement in the community. So Perth Dialogues, you put the link on the video description so people can access. And I also have given an interview to Nirmal as part of his podcast. So thank you very much for that as well, Nirmal.
Well, thank you for supporting the channel. In that sense, you have a lot of things to share from your business story, from your life story, moving into different jobs to business to jobs to business to jobs to business.
Yes.
That's a constant, that's the thing, that's adaptability. If a business works for me, I'll work in business. If this job works for me, I'll move to the jobs. Family situations require you to move around, so that's an adaptability.
That's right.
It always comes, basically it comes down to you, what you're looking for and what you can do. What are you willing to sacrifice to get that?
Yeah.
Australia is very individualistic.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you around and probably in the politics uh, news.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for giving me the time and an opportunity to talk to your listeners and viewers. It's a good opportunity for me to revisit how I came in the last 9 years or 10 years. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm always hoping for the best, always trying to increase. And I've learned a lot from you as a mentor, as a colleague, as a business partner. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things as a friend which I can share with you of the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure working with you.
My pleasure too. So thank you very much. And remember to subscribe to our channel. And I'm sure you have enjoyed this conversation that I had with Nirmal. And see you next. Bye bye.
Thanks, Seema. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.